All right, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the UCEAP Field Research and Internship presentation for our programs in Brussels, Paris, and Strasbourg. My name is Rochelle Gonzalez, and I am joined by Emily Freeman, who is one of our colleagues at IFE. And during the presentation, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera, but I will turn it back on for the Q&A session at the end. So to start, we're going to review some reasons why you should choose UCEAP. Our programs are designed specifically for UC students. With hundreds of options available, you'll find the perfect study abroad program to suit your needs. While on UCEAP, you do remain enrolled in your UC campus, which means you do not need to take a leave of absence during your study abroad program, and your UC financial aid goes with you as well. Additionally, you are guaranteed that all courses you take abroad will receive UC credit. So now I'll pass it over to Emily to talk more specifically about choosing to study abroad through one of our IFE programs.
Hi, everyone. I am Emily Freeman from the Institute for Field Education. IFE is a small, not-for-profit educational institute that was founded in 1988. We're based in Paris, France, and we have study abroad programs in Francophone countries and one in a Spanish-speaking country. Today, I'll be talking about our French-speaking programs. These programs are entirely in French, and they take place in Brussels, in Belgium, Paris, and Strasbourg, which is in northeastern France on the German border. So as I already said, and maybe we'll reiterate again, the programs are entirely in French, and this is important because there is a language requirement for them. They are programs that require about the equivalent of 5 semesters of college level French. So students should be comfortable in expressing themselves in the language. They should have taken one course, which is a topical course in the language, that is to say, moved beyond the basic grammar and language learning cycle. The reason that's important is that once you get to the program, everything will be in French. And so we want to make sure that students have a level where they don't feel overwhelmed and they're able to then progress with their language and get the benefits of the rest of the programs. These programs are full semester-long programs. Now, I know that a lot of you come from quarter schools, so generally those students tend to choose to do the program in the fall semester because you would get perhaps more credit than a quarter that you would be missing, whereas in the spring semester, it is going to be a little less than the equivalent of the 2 quarters that you would be missing. So, but it is available in the fall or the spring. The programs are in French, but these are not programs specifically for French majors. In fact, most of the students who do these programs tend to be double majors, minors in the language, or sometimes they just have French language through family or have really, another background in the language and, are not connected to the French department at all. And that's totally okay, as long as you have the level to be able to do the program. The reason that this program attracts so many double majors and is really ideal for them is that it is not a typical exchange study abroad program where you go and you do courses in a university in one of these places. It's a program that is uniquely structured to develop intercultural skills and improve your language through experiential learning. So what does experiential learning mean? What does this semester consist of? See what the next slide says. Oops, I don't think that I can change it.
Is this one good?
This is it. This is
Okay,
perfect. So
perfect.
this program, what does it include? It is based around that middle item on this slide, which is this 12-week full-time internship. Now, internship as a word can mean many things, and in the context of our program, it's important to know that this is not necessarily specifically a business internship or an internship in a specific field. We have students from all different majors in all different fields. So the internships can really range on a spectrum from very hands-on work, perhaps working in an NGO or a nonprofit organization, to very specific research topics in a laboratory setting in a university, and everything in between, including business internships. However, doing an internship in another language in another culture is very different than doing it in your home language and in your home culture. So this requires a lot of preparation. Now, when I say preparation, I don't mean preparation specifically for doing an internship in, say, a biology laboratory. I mean preparation for entering the workforce and entering the professional atmosphere, the professional I can only think of the word in French, the lieu professionnel in another country. So the way that we prepare you for that in the first 5 weeks is that you, no matter what discipline you come from, engage in a series of courses that IFE has designed. These are custom designed courses that are interdisciplinary. They include politics, history, sociology, culture, and site visits, lectures, and a lot of practicing your language. So the first 5 weeks, we call it the preparatory session because it prepares you both linguistically and culturally to really understand the place that you're living. Not many people have a background in Belgian history, know much about Brussels as a city and how it developed, or Strasbourg and its place in the EU and its place in France. People think they know a lot about Paris, but don't necessarily understand contemporary French social issues. So these courses are really designed to give you all of that information that you need in those 5 weeks. They're pretty intensive, but again, like I said, it's not just a classroom experience. You also do walking tours and visit specific sites. There's also extracurricular activities as well. So the double purpose of that first 5 weeks is also really to get you comfortable speaking French. Everyone comes with a certain level, but the idea is that we want you to be speaking French all day, every day, so that when you get to your internship, you are prepared to speak French all day, every day with your colleagues when you won't be able to flip into English whenever you get tired. So then the internship begins. I'm sorry, there is a week of vacation between the first 5 weeks of courses, then the internship begins. Like I said, it is full-time for 3 months, and that really depends on what you want to do. IFE finds this internship based on your profile, which you give us in your application and through conversations with you. So we do not have a fixed list of internships that we will just match you up with. We have unique student profiles that we then reach out to our network or totally new organizations to try and find something that fits with both what you want to do and also what your experience is. So if you're a chemistry student who wants to do a cinema internship but has no experience, that's not possible. However, we can find internships based on what your academic trajectory is and what your experience is. So we have had students in pretty much any domain imaginable, from the sciences to social sciences. Like I said, more on the ground work with NGOs, arts organizations, museums, music production, really kind of across the board. This semester we have a student from UC San Diego, I believe. I could be wrong about that, who is really interested in film production and had a sufficient experience. So she's actually working with a production company right now who's filming something top secret that I can't talk about because she can. We have students in doing traditional lab research. We have students doing, research in sustainability. It really kind of varies. So the last most important part of this internship experience is that you're going to work every day. You're becoming part of a team of colleagues, international colleagues. You're speaking the language, so you're becoming fluent in that. You're getting to know the work of the organization. So you're developing a whole knowledge base in your field in 2 languages. And then you basically culminate that experience academically through research. Now, this is very typical in Europe that an internship is an academic thing while also being a work experience. So you engage in an independent research project. You decide a topic with the help of a tutor. So it's a guided project, but it is up to you to really find something that motivates you in the work that you're doing. This project is related to the work that you're doing in your internship, and that is really the meat of the research that you do is your everyday work. You present this research orally at the end of the semester, and you write a 30-page paper, which is in French, on this topic. So that is how you get academic credit for this internship experience. It sounds incredibly intimidating, and I will just say no student has ever come to our program and done that amount of writing in French before coming to the program, and most students have not done that amount of writing in English before coming to the program. So IFE prepares you very, very well each step of the semester to the next step. And so by the time you are writing that paper, you're very well prepared, and it's the only academic thing that you are doing at that time. So it's very much your focus, and you have enough time and you have resources and the ability to do it. So basically, this semester involves a lot of different elements. It has a classroom element, it has the practical work experience, and it has research, and then you come out of it speaking the language fluently. So it's a really intensive semester. It's not for everyone. But if you want to find out more about it, if you want to specifically talk about what internship possibilities there are in your field and your interests, if I can go to the next slide. There's a lot of information online. These are all links, and this presentation will be available later. I would encourage you to go to the IFE website because there's a ton of information, including even syllabus for the courses that you would be taking, student profiles of what students have done in the past for their internships. Our Instagram has a lot on what the current student groups are doing, so you can see what the internship sites look like and the activities that they're doing. And our Facebook has a lot of news stories and also student testimonials. But lastly, and most importantly, I would encourage you to reach out to me, send me an email, and I'm happy to answer questions about specific internships in your field. And I think that's it for the moment, but I'm happy to answer questions later.
Great. Thank you, Emily. So now we'll draw your attention to the eligibility requirements. So they are the same across the board between Brussels, Paris, and Strasbourg. And on our website, you'll see a display such as what's on the screen. You'll find out the minimum GPA, as well as the class level. And then again, Emily touched on the French requirement. So there is a minimum language of French, and that would be 5 semesters or 7 quarters. Again, you would need to have the full 2 years of the language plus that additional course in order to be qualified for the program. And you could find more on this on our UCEAP website on the program page. And since we're on the slide, Emily, do you have maybe just a couple of notes about maybe Brussels in particular, maybe kind of the popular, if there's any popular subject areas or places where students intern?
Yes, so actually, this is a really important point that all 3 cities, Brussels, Paris, and Strasbourg, we can find internships in most fields in all of those cities. So there's not necessarily specific cities that have specializations. Initially, we thought Brussels might attract many more students in international relations and European studies. However, we found that we have really great placements in the sciences there. We've had physics students there. There's some really interesting arts and theater, especially arts administration at the EU level, which is super interesting, but also social organizations. So I would say Brussels as a choice is really about the city itself and the country, which is a different Francophone culture from France. The people are different, and the perhaps a little more forgiving about mistakes in French. And it is a very international, a very young, a very cosmopolitan city. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Great, thank you. And on that note, if you'd like to share any specifics about Paris.
Yes, so Paris is probably the most big city feel of the three programs, just in terms of choosing by the location. It is, it's the French capital, and a lot of people say, a lot of French political life, economic life, social life is really centralized and focused in Paris. So there are a lot of opportunities. I would focus on thinking about it not just as Paris, the city proper, but also the region of Île-de-France, where Paris is located, because a lot of the interesting business and research opportunities are slightly outside of the city, because again, it's a growing region. So there are opportunities in most every field. I would say that if you are looking for an experience outside of that kind of the capital and center of the world feeling, then I would choose Strasbourg as a city because it's a little bit different. But Strasbourg really is getting to know France from a very French perspective, because everyone will say if you want to get to know France, don't go to Paris. It's nothing like the rest of France, which is true, but it's also quintessentially French. Strasbourg has a much
Mhm.
different feel. It's a much smaller city, so that's something to keep in mind. Paris has a big city feel. Strasbourg has a smaller city feel, and it is, however, not a boring city. It is a university city, I would say. The University of Strasbourg and Sciences Po Strasbourg together, there's about 50,000 students in the city. The IFE Center is very close to the university, and it's a very approachable city in one semester. So if you are looking for an experience that perhaps is more francophone than Brussels or Paris, because those cities can be pretty international. Strasbourg is international. It has the seat of the European Parliament, but it is also a very French city. It's a good place for language immersion and getting to know the place well, in one semester. It's also really easy to be in Germany. You take the tram to Germany and you can be there in 20 minutes. You can be outside of the city very easily. So if you're a nature lover, Strasbourg is a good place to be as well. But as far
Wonderful.
as internships go, the opportunities are there as well.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So we hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and we hope that it's provided you with a starting point on your study abroad journey, and encourage you to explore the UCEAP website for detailed information about program options, finances, health and safety, and more. You should visit your campus study abroad office website, or the how to apply section on any of our program pages on the UCEAP website for more information on application steps and deadlines. Contact information for campus offices is also available through the QR code on this slide. And we offer office hours where you can schedule an appointment to have a video call with a UCEAP advisor to talk about our programs in more detail. And you'll find the link to make an office hours appointment through the QR code as well. Once you have determined which program you are going to apply to, you can start an application by selecting Apply Now on the UCEAP website. So please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Our general email is on the slide. And thank you for attending the session. So we'll now move on to the Q&A. And just before we do that, we do have some deadlines listed for the IFE programs. So in case you're interested and for your convenience, we've listed out some deadlines here as well.